I want to have a quick look at banker questions here. Just do a couple of them. So banker questions are, as we mentioned in the last event, the questions that come up nearly all the time. So the questions you're most likely to see. So if you are going to do some work, you want to do it, you want to use that time that you spent working efficiently. You don't want to waste it. So one of the most often frequent, one of the questions that gets asked the most is complex numbers. So we actually have a complete set of lessons. I'll put the link to this in the description below the video. So you just go to this URL. It'll ask you, for a username and password. The username is complex, and the password is numbers 2014. So once you give that password, you should be able to log on. When you log on, well, we have a set of lessons covering all the material you need to know, and we have model solutions. So model solutions to the complex numbers questions that were asked in 2012 and 2013. Again, there's no point, doing more and more past papers. They're more just to kind of they're more for kind of confidence, self-confidence, just to check to see that, oh, actually, this topic does get asked. Oh, I would be able to do the questions. I am prepared. So it's just more to build up self-confidence and to see what's going wrong. If you were to try a past paper and go, oh, this doesn't make any sense at all, or it's taking me way too long, then of course you want to realize that before the actual exam, as opposed to learning, doing the trial and error on the actual day. So it's kind of handy to be able to see past papers, look at the kind of questions that get asked, and see how they're supposed to be done. We also have, so if I just click on the number systems there, since in the number strand, one of the blocks is on number systems. So the real numbers and that kind of stuff. And that's where complex numbers appears in the syllabus. So then when you look at complex numbers, we have a little introduction to complex numbers, how you do division, because that's, if you know how to do it, it's pretty easy. But if you don't, it's unlikely that you're going to be able to figure it out, on the day of the exam. So it's a good way to check to see whether people have done their homework or not, whether they've done any preparation. So if you just go through these, 6 lessons, which are pretty quick, then that's all there is, all you need to know on complex numbers. That's why we're looking at that, or that's why we're looking at this now. Essentially, it's a very good way to spend your time. If you just look at the lessons, maybe look at them twice. If you have any questions, ask. That's why we're here. And then check to see, oh, I could do the past paper. Yeah, it is fine. That's not much work at all. And you can get like 6% of the entire LeavingCert Maths syllabus marks, or maths exam marks, just from complex numbers. So that's fantastic. I'll just give an example. Say if you just click it, click again, and then the video plays. So that's how this lesson system works. So that is our first banker question. And here's the solution. Basically, if you want to do complex numbers, go to that URL, which will be in the description below this video. You have the username and password. You can just use those, and then you've got access to all the lessons you need to do complex numbers. So that way, you can just focus. And really, in one day, do all of complex numbers, since there really isn't that much to it. And once you've done it, that's a tick. That's a question that most likely is going to occur. It doesn't always, but 70-80% of the time. And you can check the past papers yourself and see, yeah, complex numbers come up all the time. So that's one big tick done already. And that should keep you busy for a while. But I want to do a bit more than that. Okay, next, if you go to, on our YouTube channel, we have lessons on the number strand. So there are actually lessons on complex numbers here as well. But if you just go to the LeavingCert Maths numbers, the second lecture or lesson, it's on sequence and series. And they are also a banker. They nearly always come up, and you can get quite a lot of marks. It's actually quite a long lesson. So the first part, I think, is on scientific notation. If you just skip ahead, or if you just skip ahead, go to about 10 minutes, that's when the sequence and series part begins. And there, we just go through, all you need to know about sequence and series. So, just go through that lesson, and we do all the things you need to know. So, actually, does it begin with scientific notation? Yeah, that's right. Because I thought it should begin talking about terms. So T1, T2, T3, that makes sense. So it was 9 minutes 30 when I'd already began talking about sequence and series. Maybe it's 9 minutes something, but once you've looked at that lesson, you now have done all the material you need to know to be able to do the sequence and series question, which, as I said, is also a banker. So that's a very good way to spend your time. So then when you're sitting the exam, you can mentally go, well, look, I've done complex numbers, I've done sequence and series, the two together, that'll give me a good bit of marks. What else? Well, if you go again to the YouTube channel, we've got problem sets and solutions from the number strand. So, we not only have a set of lessons covering the number strand, where most of the marks are for ordinary level. We also have problem sets and solutions. So if you just go to the second problem set, that's on the second lesson. That's on scientific notation and sequence and series. Note that this solution is it's about 20 minutes. That's because I want to be able to go into more detail when I'm talking about the solution. I have the problem and I talk about, problems I talk about sequence and series problems, and I can give a problem very quickly. But by giving myself an extra bit of time, since this is a banker question, I can kind of go into greater depth in the solution so that it's more helpful, basically. At least that's the idea. So if you just go to this, the problem sets and solutions, just look at the solutions too, and there, so this is scientific notation. So now we talk about, the first set of questions are about sequences. Can you write down, given a general expression for sequences, can you write down what the fifth, sixth, seventh term is? That kind of question. Just a warm-up question. But then we go into using the formula and all the things that you might be asked on sequence and series. So between the LeavingCertMathsGuide system, where we have the past papers and video lessons, which cover complex numbers, and the video lesson on sequence and series on the YouTube channel, accompanied by the problem set and solutions to cover sequence and series. In fact, there's also a video lesson on complex numbers here as well. There's also a problem set and solution on complex numbers as well. So you can just do that as well, though the LeavingCertMathsGuide website version also has more model solutions and has a bit more time, so it does a little bit more. So that's all again, that theme of I don't want to waste your time, since time is precious. We don't have, the exams are quite near, so I just want to see whether any questions, or I don't know whether anyone's actually logged on at the moment. But again, I didn't give people time. But I thought it's better to get this lesson out now so that, it's up there. People can look at the lessons for between now and the exam.